Fun. Nice meeting you, first of all. Andrew, my first question is for you.
Okay.
Why did you decide to say yes when these guys asked you to join their band?
It was a really easy decision. I admire Jack's guitar playing. I admire Nate, both as a performer and as like a writer. And I admire Jack as a writer too, but I wasn't really familiar with his body of work at the time. So it was very, very easy to say yes to. It was kind of, I looked at it as the opportunity of a lifetime, and it really has been. It's been wonderful.
From what I understand, initially you two didn't get along so well or didn't like each other very much. When and where did that change?
Last Thursday.
We're still working through some things. Shoot, I don't actually. Well, we were on tour together, my band and his band, and it was a really fun tour.
Just a couple of days in. Once we got to know each other at all, it changed.
It was probably like, I think we would play. My band would always play his band in sports. So we played. I think we had like a kickball or dodgeball.
Something like that.
One day we did bowling. So when you're doing all that kind of stuff, then you start to make friends. And so eventually, I think that we were having such a good time on tour that our bands like would never set, like, you know, a lot of times vans and trailers, like our vans and trailers would always ride together. We would always go everywhere together.
And in the early days of this band, what do you consider to be the defining moments, the most important moments which got you started well?
Man, you're really dropping some questions.
Yeah, these are great questions.
Probably just making the first album, the whole process starting, because it was just the beginning of the band was just the first album. So the day that they came out to New Jersey was the day that we started working on the songs, and then that never stopped from the day that we finished the album. You know, there was no break.
There was like a couple big moments within that though of like, I think when we scrapped the first song and started like, things started really clicking on the second one, and it started to get like really fun and things like, when we first started the song we were working on, I think we just didn't like it that much, or the recording wasn't working, or there was something
I still love
wrong
it.
about it.
I went back to it also. The recording,
I mean, it's not a bad song, but
it just didn't work.
For whatever reason, we weren't getting along, or it wasn't working, or whatever. I think it was mostly just nervousness.
Yeah, I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves right out the gate, and I think that's it's great that we did that. But it made things tough. This second go around with Some Nights, everything was so much easier because I think that roles were more defined, and we just all kind of knew each other and knew what to expect, and nobody felt like they had to impress one another. I feel like that worked great when we worked with Jeff on Some Nights, like us trying to impress each other, but we're really just trying to work together, and we're trying to understand each other more than anything, and that was a little tough, especially when like we're having such a good time, and we feel the excitement of something new. So I think that put a lot of pressure on us early on, but we worked past it. We worked past it and continued to work past it for like a few months.
Do you feel like on Some Nights the bands you were in previously still resonate? Is there still something left of that, or is it something entirely new?
I think it still resonates. I think we all had such a heavy hand in our old band. So while we still are trying to, what the fuck is that?
It's like a bird fight.
While we're still trying to like progress and move and do all kinds of different things. Like, I think that those are the things that all drew us together. Are a lot of those things that might resonate from group to group.
Is it possible to pinpoint what is left from what band? Perhaps you could tell.
I mean, it's a very odd question in the sense that, like, you know, it's not like those bands were defined moments in our lives and then this is something else and we're just like picking up the pieces, because just like Fun is, any bands we played in the past were also constantly evolving. So on one hand it feels like nothing is left from the past because it's always about moving forward, but on the other hand it feels like everything is just a big collage of what we've done. To get really specific, I think Some Nights is more indicative of who we are than anything in the past, just because it's the first album where we felt completely like that weight of indie rock had been lifted off of us, and we were just able to make an album that sounded big, and it was really, you know, epic on that level that I think we are inside, and maybe in the past had curbed a little bit. So it's not the exact answer to your question, but I think some nights I would go on record as saying it's more us than things in the past.